Hello, hello. Welcome in. Going to do a quick little project today. I'm going to show you. I'm going to cover this bottle. This bottle comes from Hobby Lobby, and I love these. I've used hundreds of them through the years. Lots of many things on them, and so versatile. You can do so much with them. They're flat. You can put a cork in the top. You can put a cork light in the top. You can put a knob on the top, whatever you like. I'm going to do this one with some red birds. I've got some red birds here that I have printed out on mulberry paper, and I've got a little verse that says, being someone's first love is great, but to be their last is priceless. So what I'm going to do first is cover this bottle with mulberry paper. I'm using mulberry paper that is white with gold running through it. This is 25 GSM, and you'll find a link to this in my description here. You'll find a link to the mulberry paper. I get these big sheets from mulberrypaperandmore.com. The small ones that I print on come from Amazon, and I print on those. I use a laser printer. My printers are also listed on there. You can get a link. I've got a laser printer and I've got a wide format printer, both on there. This one is a standard size, and I just put this design. I put 3 on one sheet here to print them out, and then I have this other one. I have already cut it out because it's got a heart that's precise around the edges, so I've got it cut out. So I'm going to cover this bottle with mulberry paper. Like I said, this is 25 GSM. I'm going to use Mod Podge, which is my go-to, and I've put a little bit of water in it to thin it down. By the way, I'm Judy Mullins, and my page is Vintage to Chic. And if you haven't subscribed to us, I hope you will. Hope you'll come along and follow us, watch some more of our videos, and help me to grow a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to rip these up, and I'm going to put as big a pieces as I can put on this bottle to cover it, to get it covered quick. I don't want to sit here and tear little pieces and piece it on there. That's not necessary. I can cover the whole side of the bottle at one time if I want to. What I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to cover the top up here. So I am going to use some small pieces to cover that top. I'm going to take small pieces. I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to put it down in the edge a little bit because I want to cover this top little rim. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there. Just a little bit. I think my glue's a little bit thick. I'm going to stir it a little bit or put a little more water. I always put a few drops of water in it. You don't want it to be as thick as it comes out of the bottle because that's way too thick to work with. Okay, see where my rag is around here. Okay, I usually keep a towel or a cloth. I use old t-shirts and keep them in my lap. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put me a little bit of glue right up there on the top to get it started. Take my finger and hold that over to the inside. See, I'm going to have to piece this one in up here because I need to take it around that top. So I have got a small pieces to get around through there. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the outer part of it and glue it down there. I love mulberry paper. It has a world of uses and it looks so pretty. Okay. I'm going to cover the whole top of the bottle. Once you get that first piece down, it's got glue left over right there. So you can just grab your another piece and connect it right into that one. Because you can overlap this stuff and go right on around with it. You don't have to worry about wrinkles because it's already wrinkled. Already has. It's made that way, so you don't have to worry about having any wrinkles in it. You can get this stuff in all different colors. I use a lot of it around Halloween. Use a lot of orange around Halloween. You have to kind of excuse my voice. I've had a cold for about a week, and I'm still having some of the cough, and my voice is affected a little. I have a Etsy shop where I sell my finished products. It's vintage2chic.etsy.com. This is a fast process. Usually when I'm working with this stuff, I'll have a bunch of bottles covered. I didn't have one already covered today, or I would have used it and just showed you a little bit. But if I'm covering them, I will cover a bunch of them at one time. I'll sit here and cover 5 or 6 at one time. Then I let them dry and just stick them on the shelf. And then as I need them, I have them ready to go. Now I'm going to lay this down a little bit here. Put me a little, well, I thought I was. Put something under it, but I don't have to. Now I'm going to get me a bigger piece of paper. Like I said, I'm going to cover as much of an area as I can with one piece of paper. So I'm going to go right here. Start right up here on the top. Need that to go that way. And put me a little bit of glue. It's the wrong side. Well, I want more of the gold to show through there. I'm trying to get the gold of in my paper to show through more than the other. Put a little bit of glue up there and start right around with it. You can go back and fill in little spots. You know, if you have little spots left, you just go back with some smaller piece of paper and fill them in. Doesn't take much glue to glue it down. The more glue you put on there, the longer time you're going to have to wait for it to dry. Now when I get over to my edges, see that's rounded around the edges, and I don't want it to wrinkle and big wrinkles there. So I'm going to take my pair of scissors and just kind of clip into that where it goes around the edges, and then I'll push it down and it'll lay right down for you. Anytime you're going around a curve with your paper, clip into that paper and make you cut a space in there, and then it'll overlap by itself. You won't have to worry about trying to do it. Now, we'll set it up. And I've got a little space right up here. I'm just going to go ahead and cover that little tiny spot while I'm at it. I'm in here with a small piece of paper and just stick it in there. Okay, now I've got that side. I don't want that to be wet. I'm going to go down here, jump down here, and do the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to use a bottom edge here of my paper where there's a straight edge on that bottom to do this with, so I don't have to worry about the bottom being straight, and I don't need that much, so I'm going to take some of that off. No sense in wasting it. You can overlap it, but it's not necessary, and you don't need to waste your paper. So I'm coming right in here. Lay that piece down and work it right in there. Now if I was working on a number of bottles, I'd do one side of this bottle and I'd set it aside and go on to my next bottle and do one side on it. And by the time you work your way down about 3 or 4 bottles, you're back to number 1 again. It should be dry enough for you to continue right on around with that one. Since I'm working on both sides at the same time, I'll have to be kind of careful when I go around to the other side is not get my fingers in this one. So I'm going to set it up. And I'm going to have to, like I said, be kind of careful with it. Come in here and work on my other side with it standing up. I'm going to get me a big piece. Come right in here and kind of place it where I can do the most good with it. And come right here seems to be the spot. So I'll put me a little bit of glue right up there to the top. Put that top part in first. Kind of hold it in place with my finger. And come right in here and work it around. Now I may mess up what's down in that bottle just a tad, but that's just a little bit to fix rather than lay it down or work, and getting the whole thing wet or messed up on the other side. I want you to see what I'm doing, so I'm trying to keep it turned to where you can see good. Now I'm not going to have to, I've only got a little bit of going around the curve here, and it's kind of goes into one spot, so I'm just going to pull it right on around there. Same way over here, it's just a little tiny bit to overlap, so it's going to lay down on its own. Okay, now see, I've got a hole right here. Got one right here to cover. Get us a small piece in there. Lay it in like so, to where I think it's going to fit. Put me a little tad of glue there. Turn it a little. Pull it right around to this side. Okay. Now I see one more little piece down here to the bottom. There's a little hole right here. Got to make sure all your little spots are covered. See, I've got that whole side. Got one more little tiny one. And I've got that side done. Now we'll turn back around here. Start right here. These are beautiful with cork lights in them because they show up so pretty. All that different threads and stuff will show up in your light. Right on down that little section there. Okay, now I got the very bottom down here to get across that bottom. See if I've got a straight edge here. This one's pretty straight. I'm going to hold it up here and position it right across that bottom. Hold it up where I can see. I got a little hole right there I got to cover in. So I have to put a little piece in there. Right around this edge. I've got two little spots left to cover. Okay, let's get one over here. Put in this little spot. Now I'm going to have to dry this one because I need to go right on working on it. So I'm going to use my dryer and I'm going to dry this one real quick. Won't take but just a couple of minutes to get all that dry. Okay, so just excuse my dryer. I'll set my Mod Podge over there and get this out of my way and come right in here with my dryer. Okay. Okay, see how quick that dries? And it becomes, your bottle becomes more transparent. When it's dry, you can see the transparency. I've got one little spot right here. I'll cover that later because I can go right on now to what I'm going to put on it, okay? So I'm going to lay it down here on my table, and I'm going to start with my picture over here. And I'm going to see how this big one, I want to use this big cardinal here, and I think it's going to be okay to go in there. I'm going to take my water, just take my brush, a water brush, and work this one out. This other one, I cut it out precise, only because it was already so precise. See, it's got a straight edge around it, so I just cut it out. But this one, I'm going to take my water pen, take my brush. You could use a water pen, whatever you have. I just happen to have brushes handy. Okay, so I'm take my water and go in here right around this one as close as I can get to the design, and just put some water on there, and I'm going to tear it right out of there. This is a little bit bigger than the ones I've been doing, but I want to use this cardinal. It's so pretty around here. It's like lovebirds. This is a great piece for a wedding gift, or a newly engaged couple, your wife, your husband. It's just a nice piece. A lot of uses, a lot of gift uses. Now I've got that wet. Just going to hold it down and kind of pull the paper from around it. Most of you know how to do how to pull a wet piece out. That way we don't have any straight edges around through there. And this is mulberry paper, working on mulberry paper, so we don't have to worry about losing any of the edges, because it's all, it's the same stuff. It's just this one is a little bit thicker, and the GSMs on this one is a little bit heavier than the one we done. Now sometimes you'll have a piece of the string in there that's real harsh like that, so I'm going to take my scissors and clip that one right there. If you got a piece that's real thick and just doesn't look very good, then just clip it out. Okay, see, I've got it out now. I'm going to lay it on my paper here, and that's going to work. It's going to work on there just fine. So I'm back to my glue. Get my brush out of the water. Dry it off a little. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue underneath it, hold one end up. And one end up here. Hold it up. Put a little bit of glue down on there, lay it down, and just kind of smooth it from the middle out. And go down into the bottom and do the same thing on the bottom, and then I'll top coat it a little bit on the top to attach it on there. It's good. Okay, now I've got it on there. Now let's go in and take the glue over top of it. And it just fades right into that. Because like I said, you're working two papers that are exactly the same. Just one is a little thicker than the other. This mulberry paper here is already cut to size of your printer, and I buy it on Amazon. You'll find a link in my links under the description here. You'll find a link to it. Like I said, I use a laser printer, but now you must attach this sheet of paper to another sheet to get it to go through your printer. If you try to just feed this mulberry paper through your printer, most of the time it sticks. It won't go through. I have 4 or 5 printers, and none of mine goes through by itself. And I just attach it. I'll show you in a minute how I do that. Attach it to a piece of paper and then put it through. You figure out whether your printer prints on the top side of a paper or the bottom side. And that's how you attach it, and that's how you put it in your printer. This is so pretty. See how pretty that is? Beautiful. Okay. And like I said, when you're printing it out, you take your sheet of, say this is my mulberry paper here. Let me get a piece back here that I've got attached, and I'll show you one. Okay. Say this is my sheet of regular paper. You take your mulberry paper and lay it on top of it, and you attach it a little bit. I use pixie spray, and I spray a little bit in between these 2 layers right here. Push it down. Then I feed that through my printer just like so. Goes through the printer, and it comes out just fine. Okay. Now I'm going to put this one on the other side. This one's just kind of a centered piece. This is the verse. Being someone's first love is great, but to be their last is priceless. Very easy project to do. Makes a great gift. Don't have to do a lot more work on it. After you get it on here, you don't have to do a lot of work. I will varnish it, spray varnish it with Rust-Oleum's 2-in-1 acrylic varnish here. It's called Ultra Coat. And I'll take it outside when it's good and dry, which will be later today. And I will varnish it, and then I will put a ribbon around the top of it. Tie me a red and white ribbon on the top, which you'll see in the picture when you're looking at this one. Okay, I think we've got that one done. See here? We've got the cardinals on one side. We've got the others, the verse on this side. I got one little spot down there to cover with a little piece of mulberry paper. And I've got it done. This is the varnish that I use, called, this is Rust-Oleum's Ultra Cover Gloss Clear. I will coat it with that, and then I will tie me a bow around the edges here, and I like to mix my ribbons on my bow. I will put a red and white. It'll be red and white ribbon on that. When you get it, in the final coat of varnish, I will varnish it with some glitter, put some glitter on it. And with that I use, after I'll spray it and let it dry, I'll come back in with a brush on varnish. And I use Josonia's, which you'll find that link in my descriptions too. And I'll put a little bit of varnish in a cup, like this little cup here, and put a little bit of my glitter inside that cup, which is called Go Create. I buy this from Hobby Lobby, and it's just an iridescent glitter. And I'll shake some of that into your cup where you got your varnish. Then you don't have to varnish the whole thing. You just can hit and miss it and put the glitter exactly where you want it. And I think we're done. I'm trying to do some quick projects today, and I think I'm succeeding with getting them done in plenty enough time. Okay, I'm out of here. Hope you join me again.